What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric. This is The Road to Freedom. Thanks for joining me. All right, we're going to talk about the second part of that triangle. We're going to talk about emotions. So real quick recap. Here's the idea. This stole this from CBT. You got thoughts, emotions, or reactions, then outcome or actions, right? So once again, thoughts, emotions, actions. Change one, change them all. Feed to one, feed them all. All right? Cool. So quick story. It's kind of ironic that I'm wearing this shirt today. The reason why is because, so I wanted to drop some weight, right? I moved to being a desk jockey, went from like 195 fighting shape, right? Six pack all the time, right? Hella training. And then I jumped to 225. And I was like, dude, I'm not lean, right? I'm not fat, but I'm not lean, right? And so I'm used to like just looking shredded all the time. So I was like, all right, man, let's get back to running, right? Used to run a lot. So I'm working on it, and then I'm talking to my coworker one day, and he's like, hey man, did you know that there's an 8-mile race coming up? I was like, what? Hell yeah, let's do that, right? And so we're training for it, and I'm at 225, I haven't been running for a while, so I had to like work on getting to a mile. And I had to get over my mentality like, hey, dude, what the fuck? You used to run like 17 miles every other day. Like your roommates used to think that they'd have to call the cops because you were gone for so long, right? Like, what's going on, dude? So I got over that, got my first mile, worked my way up to a 5K, and I put in 5Ks, like once a week or something like that. And then, I fall off the bandwagon, stopped training, and 2 months go by. It's the day of the race, and it's cold. It's like October. It's Albuquerque. We're a mile up, and I'm riding my moped, right? Because at the time, I would ride the moped and not the car, and it's fucking cold. And like there's ice on the roads, car accidents because of the ice, and I'm like freezing my ass off, and I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing? I'm freezing to the bone. Eventually, I get to the race. Right? I'm like, dude, I can't believe I made it here. So I get off my moped, I try to warm up real quick, and then I look for my coworker, find him with his family community. We check in real quick, and then I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna go to the back, because I'm gonna be the slowest guy here, right? And so real quick, here's how the race kind of went. You would have like this gravel road, long trail, and then you have a wooded trail by the Rio Grande, right? And then, so there was like an 8-mile, 16-mile on a marathon, right? So anyway, I'm at the back of the line. They say, start the race. So we start. And about a mile and a half in, I realize, oh shit, I'm near the front of the pack. No. This is going to suck, right? Because I moved way too quickly in the initial part. And anyway, so I'm going through the wooded section, and my right hamstring, right, starts acting kind of funny. And I'm like, okay, so two choices here. Choice one, run it. Just say, fuck it, run it, right? Might get injured, who cares, right? You're a desk jockey. You can limp to work. Second one is, you just walk it out, right? And so I'm like, injury kind of sucks, so let's just walk it out, right? So I walk it out. And some things are going on, right? That's pertinent to this video. Here's what's going on. I am in both a state of elation because I said I was going to do something and I fucking showed up. And I'm also in a state of anger because it's fucking cold and I got to walk another 6 miles. Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm walking this thing and I'm talking to myself and I'm using my emotions. Because while I'm walking, I'm like thinking to myself, like, why the hell am I doing this? The fuck's the point? I don't get anything out of this. No one's gonna say, hey Eric, you didn't cross the finish line. What the hell, man? And I'm not gonna get anything when I cross the finish line, right? This is all just me on my own, no one else, right? So I'm having all that negative thought process going on. I'm trying to rationalize with myself. And so what I do is I would use my joy. Hey man, I showed up. I got integrity, bro. I got integrity. I'm crossing that finish line, right? I would use that to get me going just a little bit further. And then I would eventually, because that emotion's going to run down in intensity, I'm running out of fuel in that area, I would switch to my other fuel, right? Anger. Dude, it's fucking cold. I'm moving quicker. That way I can warm up, right? So eventually I get through, and I'm coming to the finish line, and they ask me like, "Hey, were you with the marathon group?" And I'm like, "No, dude." I was with the 8 Mile group, and they're like, and I was like, "Yeah, last one, but hey, man, I made it. I've crossed this finish line." Like, they're like, "Yeah, you fucking did," and then they gave me the shirt. So, so here's the idea. You once again talked about this in the fundamentals. I see us as a car. Okay, so get your mind around this. We're a car. Okay, it's a good analogy. You have the body, right? Our body. That's the body of the vehicle. You got your mind. That's the steering wheel. Okay, then you got your heart, and that's the emotions. Once again, let's talk about that. Have you realized that whenever you change your emotions, or when your emotions are intense, all of a sudden you get a bunch of energy? You can be tired as fuck, right? Let's say the kids, right? Kids wake you up again. They'll wake you up again, and you're pissed off. You were exhausted trying to go to bed. Kids woke you up again. You're angry. Now all of a sudden you got a bunch of energy, right? Or equally so, something awesome happens, right? And you were just like, meh, whatever. And then something awesome happens, and you're like, right? You have so much energy all of a sudden. So that's the idea. We're going to use our emotions, okay? So what we're going to do for our exercise on this one is I want you to grab a pen and piece of paper. While you're doing that, we're going to talk about an idea, okay? The idea is, I don't know where the hell this came from. I don't know if I made it up. I don't know. If someone told me this somewhere along the line, I appreciate you. Changed my life. This idea is chronic emotion, okay? So there's usually like these sets of emotions that folks will defer to whenever something happens. If it's good, they tend to go to this thing. If it's bad, they tend to go to this thing, okay? We're gonna talk about them. So I'm more aware of a chronic emotion on the negative side. So let's talk about that, and we're gonna talk about the positive side. Okay, so there's usually 4 emotions, okay, that you will go into whenever something happens. Let's say life kicks you, you feel unjustified, and then you're going to go into one of 4 emotions typically: apathy, grief, fear, or anger. I'll say it again: apathy, fear, grief, or anger. Okay. So me personally, whenever I feel unjustified, what I'll do is I'll go to anger and rage. That's one of my demons, right? I can turn on that real quick. So whatever that emotion is for you, maybe you go to a state of fear, or you just say, nah, fuck, who cares, whatever, right? That's apathy. Maybe whatever that is for you, that's your chronic emotion. What I've found for me, and what I'm finding for others, is that the chronic emotion is your place. That's your landing base. Okay? That's the place you're most comfortable to. That's the reason why I keep on deferring to that emotion. That is the emotion that I want you to write down. Whenever something happens that's negative, or you feel a negative emotion, that's the emotion that you're going to use. Okay, we're going to go more into that. Okay? But for right now, just write that down. Okay, on the flip side, again, chronic emotion. There's going to be an emotion that you have whenever something good happens to you. Okay? I don't have these necessarily outlined because it was easy for me to identify those ones. But what I'm speculating is maybe there might be like peace, elation, like super high joy, right? Maybe there might be like a calm, right? Something along those lines is what you may feel. For me, it's extreme joy, right? You'll see me singing, I'm dancing, I'm like freestyling, right? I'm barefoot, I'm dancing, I'm doing my stuff, right? So for you, whatever that is, write that down. That's your chronic emotion when it comes to positive. Again, we go to that because that's what we're most comfortable to. So we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff. We're going to go into a couple of things. One, so again, you can defer back to this triangle, right? You can change your thoughts to change your emotions to change your actions, right? There's also a unique relationship that happens between these two. Because once again, if you change your thoughts or your beliefs, you're going to change everything else downstream. So we're going to focus on these two. Now that we got this basic out of the way. All right, see you soon.